Hi there, I'm Stevie Fernandez.
And I'm Trish Whitmer. We're excited to have you back with us for this week's Explore Tulsa.
You'd better believe it, Trish. And this week we jump into the old Wayback Machine to a time when turntables and LPs were king.
Stevie, all generations still enjoy the sound of music coming from vinyl records. What was the first album you ever bought?
Fleetwood Mac's Rumors LP. Every song on that album was a hit.
Well, maybe we'll find it downtown at David Grover's new Spinster Records.
You have to be crazy to open a record store. You really do. I mean, like when you really break it all down, it's a lot of work. But I love it, and I am crazy, so that's why I'm doing a record store. The first piece of vinyl I got was probably my parents' records. They had like Sonny and Cher, and like the 20 heavy hits of the '60s, and maybe a Beatles record. Cat Stevens. So yeah, my parents were kind of like hippie West Coast, and we moved from LA to Hawaii, so a lot of Hawaiian music too. So those are all the first records in my world. First record I bought was probably the Beatles' Greatest Hits, the Red album. I remember music always being around the house, and then I was just always enthralled with music. Like when I was a little kid, I'd just be really close to the radio and just listening and figuring out all the songs, and I started playing music really early, so I was just always really captivated by music. Yeah, I did a lot of work in Los Angeles, playing clubs and playing areas around there, and DJing and actually throwing events. So that started probably for me in the 90s, and I was in a band at the same time, so doing a lot of stuff like that. Yeah, it's always been vinyl, and well, it never went away. So it was always around. But what happened was, obviously CDs and MP3s and all those things got popular, but vinyl was still kind of around, and it was mainly alternative, and DJs still had to do vinyl until CDJs came out. So that kind of extended it, and hip hop had a big connection to vinyl because it was DJs who were creating the beats and samples, so it was kind of kept alive, and collectors were still collecting. So it had this kind of weird life this whole time. There's all these little things that were kind of always boosting it, making it cool, and then it just started growing a little bit more, and then I think like the end of Gen Xers and the beginning of millennials, they just started really liking things that were more classic and something that you could hold and touch, and it was more manual. A record, you hold it, you physically open it, there's some static, you put it on, you're in control, you have to be involved in it. You can't, you have to lift it up when it's done, so you have to be present for it. So I think all of these things kind of add to the longevity, and it's just like a really great form for the art. It's like a culmination, 4 to 5 songs aside. A group and a producer and writers got together and did this, and it's like their culmination of work. And it's just like, it's 12 by 12, it's perfect for our hands, we can look at it. There's just a lot of things going for the format. We were looking at all these cities, and we kept coming back to Tulsa, and we just really liked the music scene here and the way the city's set up, and there weren't a whole lot of record stores yet, even though it's not a huge issue for us, because we think there can be a lot more record stores. We just kind of fell in love with the city and the people, and so we got a good chance to check out different locations, and came across this one, and we're super happy to be downtown in the Tulsa Arts District. I think that for me, we're not only a record store, we kind of consider ourselves a music lifestyle store. So we have live shows here, and we do events, we do a lot of other things. So we think having record stores have always been important parts of community and city, as is bookstores and libraries and all these things that are public gathering places. I think are really important, especially now when we're getting more and more on our phones and our devices, and we're in cubicles and we're at home. We're getting less and less chance to interact, and I think for me those things are really important, and I want to live in cities that have things like that.